Wow, how do we record? I seem to have forgotten.
Starting the new year off wrong, as usual. There we go.
Well, you say that. We're in February now.
Yeah.
Hi, we've missed you. You probably haven't missed us. We might have, we don't know.
Statistically speaking, you haven't listened to us unless you're Mom. Hi, Mom.
This is just sort of like a book club at this point that we record. It's like my mum's part of a book group. I think it's a very mum thing to be a part of a book group, isn't it?
I guess.
We're back for Series 7.
Yes, we are. We are here. We are live.
In case you don't know by now, I am Greg Davies.
And I am not Greg Davies, although I am almost the same size as Greg Davies.
No, you're Reggie Watts.
Yes.
Yeah.
Except I'm funny.
And you didn't get your show didn't get cancelled very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So, Joe, what is new in your life since we last recorded?
Ooh, dear. So when did we
And
last
try and make it
record?
brief, because it's been about 2 months since we've put out any content.
My brother, David, his son was born, Adam. He's an adorable small baby.
Oh, okay. Have you met him? Have you met him yet?
Considering he's 2 months old, yes. I have seen the small baby. I have held the small baby. I have had the small baby fall asleep on my chest. I have photographed the small baby. I know what he looks like. He's adorable small child.
Well, so you're going to be the crazy Uncle Joe that you promised.
I hope so. At this point, I am the uncle who is photographing his every time I see him.
Oh, so you're one of those social media people with babies. Like you see a baby photo.
Well, no, I have the nice camera gear.
Fair enough. Well, if your brother and his partner do like a baby photo shoot, you're going to be the one to do it, sort of.
Yeah, no, I mean, I already have done that. I have done that for them. He's a beautiful little child.
Oh, what? Are you comfortable sharing his name?
Adam. I said that.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, welcome to the world, Adam Zadar. I think that is his name, right? Adam
Zeta. You still managed to pronounce my last name wrong.
Zadar. Zadar. Yes. I mean, Zeta. I nearly got it, man.
Nearly got it.
Anyway, welcome to the world, Adam. I hope you turn out to be twice as good as your uncle.
Yes,
which isn't difficult. But in my life, a lot has happened. I'm nearly done with uni.
Oh, good.
I was kind of nervous to record at this point because my life is just really busy and I don't even make any money from this. So I'm essentially just doing this as a hobby. But I guess it keeps me sane for a little bit, I guess.
It's better than my hobbies, which involve copious amounts of driving around and taking pictures of things, which is a lot of gas.
And staring at steam engines. Or trains in general.
Like this weekend. If this weekend, actually, a local railroad company chemical gassed an entire town when they crashed a train full of hazardous chemicals, and then had to burn off said hazardous chemicals. So I went out and saw that, and it's like, I'm glad I did that when I did, because the next day they did a controlled burn and sent a 2,000-foot pillar of chemical smoke into the sky. It was horrible.
Well, I have some potentially exciting news for our listeners.
Oh?
Before the end of this year, it's not impossible that we could have the first real-life in-person episode of this podcast.
Oh?
I am going to be going to work in America in a summer camp over the summer.
Where?
Pennsylvania.
Oh, shit. Which part?
It's not far from Philly.
Okay, so you're on the you will be about 6 or 8 hours from me, depending on how far the drive is.
But I'm sure that I'm sure I can't drive, but I'm sure that there's buses that go that distance. or something.
How
Or
quaint.
a train.
How quaint that your European sensibilities are kicking in and assuming that there's a decent way to get there. You're better off to fly, but anyways, we can deal with that at some point when we're not recording our every thought to the public,
Well,
to our listening public.
If such a thing happens, you must be willing to share any microphones you have with me, or else I will have to use the microphone built into a set of headphones or something.
I have microphones available. We can do that, and then
So yeah, I'm going to be working at a summer camp in America, in Pennsylvania. It'll be early June sometime, early June to late August, and then I get a bit of traveling time afterwards with the money I've got. So
neat.
I could maybe, if your parents are very accommodating, I could chill in your place for a bit.
I think that could happen. I'll have to ask them.
I could see little baby Adam, and he starts crying, and like you'll be like, "Oh, don't worry, Adam. There's nothing wrong with the scary British man, except with his disgusting teeth and his tea and his crumpets."
Your strangely non-descriptive American accent will do more psychological damage than anything else.
You seriously cannot place a location where it's from.
No, there's nothing there. Nothing.
I mean, to be fair, I wouldn't know where you were from. I mean,
this is the uncanny valley of accent. Like, I need you to understand that your accent fulfills all the requirement for an American accent, except if anybody from this country heard you speak like that, they would never be able to figure out where you were.
I'll say, I think it'd be good for like narrating American audiobooks.
No,
I disagree.
It's off-putting how non-descriptive it is.
Well, I to be fair though, I probably wouldn't be able to place yours. The only bone you could possibly throw me is that you haven't spent a lot of time in the deep South.
Yeah, no.
You're definitely in the northern part of the country.
Yeah, I have a mix of like a northeasterner accent. It's more up in the north. If you're not like in one of the places where they have like distinct hard accents like Boston, you've got to more focus on you've got to focus more on the actual things that you're saying. Like you can tell where somebody was from if they like descriptive words for things like soda versus pop. I grew up in a place where
I don't know anyone who says pop ever.
Oh, honey, oh dear. Okay, in
this country, no one has said pop since at least the 1970s.
No, and
to describe a drink, that is.
If you're in the East Coast of the United States or on the West Coast, if you're on the coasts, it's soda. If you're in the Midwest, it's pop. If you're in the South, it's Coke. Regardless of what Coke you actually want to drink. Like, you can say, I'll have a Coke, and then they'll say, what kind of Coke? And you'll say, Pepsi. It's like, that's basically...
What kind of Coke? Pepsi. Oh, so a completely different drink.
It's because Coca-Cola is headquartered in Atlanta. It's basically, the nomenclature down there.
But yeah, I'm really excited to go to this summer camp because, like I said, it's in Pennsylvania. It's very close to Philly. Well, I say it's about an hour and a half, but that also means it's quite close to New York.
An hour and a half from Philly? Where is this? Lancaster County?
Probably. It's about a 90 minutes to Philly, 2 hours to New York.
Message me the name of this place. I think I know where it's going to be.
Okay. Obviously, don't say it aloud.
I'm not. This is not for the. Oh. Okay.
What? Do you not like it?
No. Hold on.
Are you saying this camp is bad and that I shouldn't go?
No. This is. I just got to check the location because the geographic place name of where
you're going.
You're going is not usually included when thinking of places with civilization.
So, I mean, I knew it was not. Why are you laughing?
Oh, because you're in the middle of goddamn nowhere. That's why.
Well, first of all, most summer camps are in the middle of nowhere.
Oh no, I'm just. It's like I was thinking, like, where the hell is he? And it's like, oh, okay.
And even if it is in the middle of nowhere, 90 minutes to a pretty big city is tolerable, even though to you that's probably just like walking to someone who lives a few streets away. For me, I could just like, if I get a train or something, I can just sit in the train and Jesus Christ, you scared me, you piece of shit.
What train? There's no train. There's no bus. You're stuck there.
Well, surely I have to get to the camp. I can't drive there. And
they'll probably pick you up, and then your method of transportation is going to be walking.
Well, I'm a big guy. There has to be a town of somewhere that has surely somewhere around 10,000 people in it.
Okay, let me look.
We're spending a lot of time talking.
No, oh no, this is funny.
I knew it was going to be in the middle of nowhere.
Okay, the nearest town to where your thing is, population as of 2016, 1,326. It's an unincorporated community.
I mean, I guess that's all right. We have because of how middle class my family is, we have a second home in the West Country.
No, but Emerson, you're not getting this. Town. Okay, I live in a town of about 16 or 17,000. We don't have any buses in the county.
Okay, well, is there at least an airport within half an hour of this place? This is riveting content. While Joe looks that up, shall I introduce?
This is amazing. How fucking in the boonies you are. Well,
it's all part of the cultural exchange.
Okay, so let's. Oh, Google doesn't even have a public transit option for here. Okay, you are about an hour. Oh no. Okay. Allentown, Pennsylvania is the nearest large city to you.
Okay.
Allentown, Pennsylvania is 38.3 miles away. How long will it take you to get there by car?
Well, I can't drive, but I assume it would take me an hour, maybe?
Yes. And you are an hour away from the nearest town. And then Allentown, Pennsylvania is notable for a couple of things. I mean, there are things there. It's a city, but notably is something that if you ever go to Allentown for any reason, aside from the Billy Joel song, Allentown Airport is really funny in that you will go to the airport and you will go through security, and the airlines have decided that it is cheaper to provide a bus from Allentown to Philadelphia or JFK airports as opposed to actually putting you on an airplane and flying you. So you will go through security and get on a bus that says American Airlines on it.
Okay. I'm not too fussed about the location because once I'm out of that, it shouldn't be too difficult sort of traveling around. Flights within the United States relatively inexpensive. Because you don't have to go through massive passport checks or anything.
No, it depends on which airline you want to fly and where you're going.
Can you? I know you laughed at me when I said I could get the train from this place, but surely there has to be a train from at least Philly to New York.
Yes, there is, but you are closer to New York City than you are Philadelphia.
Well, I'll want to see, but that's fair enough.
You are 2 hours from New York City, and you are See, this.
Can we start the series?
Yes, we can. You are exactly
we'll talk about
as far
this
away
more
from Philadelphia as you are New York City.
And that's all right. I've got two major US cities within arm's reach. Well,
no. Okay, but anyways, continuing on to what we were talking about before Taskmaster.
Taskmaster,
yes, not
Series
Emerson's going
7.
to die in the Poconos. Anyway.
Hey, you just doxed me.
It's a mountain range.
Oh, okay.
But anyways,
I'm excited though. And
I think this is good for you. I think you're going to have a lot of fun. And anyways,
it's it's a weight loss camp, so I'm not going to be sort of force fed the American massive meal portions. I'm going to stay relatively healthy.
Oh, joy. Okay,
well, when I was there, they said they really promoted healthy eating and that sort of thing.
Okay.
And it's just
I don't have any experience with that. Okay.
Okay.
It sounds like he's going to get murdered by a cult, but we're going to pretend it's fine. Anyways.
Do you know what a carrot is, Joe?
Yes. It goes in cakes.
Do you know what broccoli is?
It's a green cauliflower that tastes like ass.
That's a... Oh, God. I thought you're supposed to say no, but anyway. Taskmaster. Series
Taskmaster
7.
news before we start this. Very briefly. This happened after we finished recording last time, but Kongen Befaller news. Antle Antonsen left Taskmaster, left Kongen Befaller because
and the What Does the Fox Say guy
revealed
joined in.
as racist.
We've talked about this. And the What Does the Fox Say guy took his place.
Yes. One of the members of Ilvis, who was a previous host on the show. What's his name? I don't know.
Something Ylvis.
Bard Ylvisaker, who was a season 1 contestant on Kongen Befaller, stepped in. I believe I mentioned this before. He also might have accidentally broken the world record for keeping your eyes open when he did.
We've already talked about this, Joe.
We did not. We did not release the bonus episode because it wasn't very good.
Oh yeah, we recorded the bonus episode and it was an absolute travesty.
It was not great. I think Emerson was feeling kind of tired, and I was not up to it either, and so we just didn't release that. Also, just as an update, Taskmaster Australia is now airing, and from what I hear, from the one episode that's aired as of yet, it's a success. The second episode airs in 2 days on February 9th.
Okay.
And
now should we talk this show?
Yes.
Taskmaster Series 7. This is the big one. I've been wanting to cover this one ever since we started this podcast. We have James Acaster, Jess Snappett, Kerry Godliman, Phil Wang, and Rodney Gilbert.
Rodney,
whatever.
This show gets straight to the heart of what it is so quickly. I was going to say, if we just want to drop in a quote from... This is the only soundbite I would like you to drop in this episode.
I know it's early days. Are we the stupidest so far?
They are pretty stupid, yeah, but I think that's what makes a Taskmaster cast so memorable. Do you have your trusty Crota with you, Joseph?
I do. I do have my trusty Icelandic Krona. If I can find which drawer it's in.
All right, so we're going to do it this way. Heads, you start.
Oh, no, where's the Krona gone? Where's the Krona? It was in my desk drawer.
Should we just flip a coin online?
No, because I actually don't know where I put it.
His Krona is a symbol of good luck, everyone.
It is?
I'm just assuming it is. You're supposed to play along with everything I say.
I am playing along with what you say. Let's do... My God, this is fantastic content for literally everybody who's not listening to this.
Oh, wow.
Here it is.
You can actually get a bus from somewhere. Oh, you had to get a cab, but yeah.
Okay, I found the
We're
Krona.
over this.
It escaped into the back of the desk, which is why I couldn't find it. So, on we've got crab or coat of arms.
I don't know what crab. I start. Other side, you start. Okay.
Yep. Right. Coat of arms.
Take it away, Joe.
Right.
But first,
so
do we have an HSC?
We do.
Finally, the jingle, which sounds absolutely awful on the ears. Hawaiian shirt count.
Right, there's two of them.
Yay.
Philly Wang Wang is wearing whatever the hell patterns on his shirt.
That was what his Netflix special was called, Philly Wang Wang.
they could. I swear to God, I don't know what pattern it is, because they only showed in like wide shots, and it's like it's a black shirt with like repeating floral motif on it, but it's not high enough on the collar or distinct enough from a distance to see exactly what it is. And then Carrie is wearing, and also I was watching this on my phone, so I couldn't really see. And then Carrie is wearing a green shirt with little tiny flowers across it, which is a real treat that we finally get to see this.
I love how we made that jingle, and the first series we use it for barely needs it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the episode is called The Mean Bean, by the way.
Yes.
And
mean in the mathematical sense, not in the
like
rudeness
essentially
sense.
average, like the average. Are you smarter than the average bean?
Yes.
Okay. Prize task time.
Yes. So prize task. This item is the thing the most people want to touch. Bring the thing most people want to touch. That's a tongue twister. That's a bit of a mind game. Bringing the thing most people want to touch. Does that mean the most, or most as in an average amount of, as in like a representative sample? But anyways, we brought in some fine amounts of wordplay, 2 toys, and something really we could have done without Rod Gilbert. But anyways, so we start off with James Acaster, who brought in a cardboard cutout of MC Hammer, famous for his 1990s song Can't Touch This.
Which we won't sing for copyright reasons.
I mean, we could probably sing it. It would just sound bad. I was really expecting you to go da 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 da. But anyways,
you know that song actually sampled an earlier song.
Yes, it did. Most
Super
90s,
Freak by Rick James.
Yes, the Super Freak. I am aware of Super Freak. Most 90s rap songs sampled quite heavily. It's just that nobody ever thinks about that because they can only ever think of Ice Ice Baby, which egregiously sampled Queen.
Yeah.
Now Vanilla Ice has like a house flipping show on HGTV.
Really?
It's really weird.
He did stuff after that song came out?
Yeah, he has like a show on HGTV where he flips houses. It's very interesting.
While all this is happening, I'm looking at relatively cheap ways to get to Philly or NYC from the camp I'm going to.
Walk. Anyways,
well, there's a night bus. But yeah.
Jess Knappett brought in a "Do Not Touch" sign, which she implies everybody who sees a "Do Not Touch" sign immediately wants to touch it. Can confirm. Carrie Godleman brought in a Newton's Cradle, otherwise known as an executive ball clicker. Greg Davies has a somewhat disappointing story about this. He wanted one as a child. His mother refused to buy it for him when he got his first job. He bought one and found it to be somewhat lackluster. After that, Phil Wang brought in a toy chariot that
which he haggled for.
Which he haggled for. I would also like to point out that this is the first time we will hear about Phil Wang's shrewd negotiation skills, which apparently come up quite a bit because he uses it as another gag in another prize task later on in this same show. In this same series, I'm sorry. But it's a fun little mechanized horse pulling a carriage. He said he got it in Indonesia. It's cool. And then after that we get right. Rod Gilbert shows a picture of Greg Davies as about age 17 with a weird looking stuffed animal behind him. Greg Davies goes into the backstory of it in that the stuffed animal is named BT, otherwise known as Blue Ted. It was made by his mother. And apparently, this is again laser focused at Greg, because apparently when Greg was in his late teens and in a particularly lonely but otherwise frisky part of his life, as he says, he engaged in relations with the doll, which is not something I would have admitted if there had been a gun pointed at my head, but Greg can do whatever. Also, this is thankfully not the bespoiled BT from Greg's childhood. Yeah.
He went missing ages ago.
Rod apparently paid for a replacement to be made complete with slit in the ass for whatever might be done. I didn't like this entry. This is really fucking weird. I'm gonna be real. Even if it's just a bit, I don't like it. But so when we come up to so we're gonna just move on. Scoring round. So Greg thought that Jess's sign was horse shit, so he gives her last place. Carrie and James both get fourth place, joint fourth. Rod Gilbert gets second from the last. Second from second place, and then Phil Wang gets the first place because it is somewhat entrancing. Greg wants to hold it. Now, do we want to drop the Taskmaster Joe theme?
I thought you'd never ask.
It's the Taskmaster and his name is Joe, and he's gonna tell us what we should know. It's Taskmaster Joe.
Right. So I thought that the exact opposite of Greg, actually. Almost the exact opposite. I really, really liked the takeaway of a do not touch sign, which you obviously want to touch. And the instant he said James said MC Hammer, I got the joke. So those are joint first. I'm putting Kerry and Phil in joint second because I thought that the horse toy was really neat, and everybody likes Newton cradles. And then I put Rod dead last.
Ooh,
because it actually is like kind of uncomfortable. It's like, ugh. Like, although Rod seems to thrive on making people uncomfortable throughout this entire experience on this show. This time it was just directed more at the audience. And then before we continue on to the next task, this is possibly the first prize task to actually have a master task for it. Director Sivmira in Croatia in season 1, episode 2, did this as their prize task, which followed a very similar approach. So this does have an adapted version.
Oh, okay. Oh, and that was a weird voice crack.
And then we're on to the next
first task, which is moi. Showing
more of Alex Horn than I ever want to see.
Design and demonstrate the best quick change outfit. Best and quickest quick change outfit wins. You have 1 hour. Your time starts now. I think this was a very good task to get everyone's feel, or for us as the audience to get a feel of how everyone's going to handle the show.
Oh yeah. Although, do you want to know something that's not like related to the task? How I would have done it? Because we've said in the past that I would wear, if I was on Taskmaster, I would wear
a Hawaiian shirt,
like a revolving door of Hawaiian shirts and other such clothing items. I have always wanted to make or buy or have commissioned or something a quick change Hawaiian shirt with like magnets in the seams so I can just rip it off. And I feel like if I ended up on Taskmaster, it would end up that I would be able to do this task really quickly because I would have quick change clothes with me.
I'd love to see you in like a custom Hawaiian shirt with Greg Davis's face printed all across it.
That would be funny. Also, do you want to know what I would do with the quick change Hawaiian shirt? This has also been the other part of that joke, is rip off the quick change Hawaiian shirt to reveal an identical Hawaiian shirt under it.
Sure.
That's the visual gag I want, is to just to do that. But anyways, the task is introduced by Alex outside the caravan,
and he's wearing different hats for everyone. And then he goes up to sort of like straighten himself to pull the task out of his pocket. And when he reemerges through the caravan door, he's wearing a completely different hat.
And they actually are really good with the quick change because they must have had someone like outside the caravan
on
like,
top of the caravan.
On
maybe.
top of the caravan, like pluck. Well, no, they could have been on a ladder. I'm not sure how structurally sound the roof is, but they like yank off his hat and put on the new one immediately. It was really cool.
With some of them,
it.
I think he was wearing like this Russian bearskin hat or something,
Mm-hmm.
and then he went up and then reappeared with a crown. The crown could have easily just been hidden underneath.
The crown
that.
could have been under it. The one I really liked is he came back with one of those stereotypical Australian outback hats that has corks hanging from it on string.
Oh yeah,
That definitely didn't look like it had long enough time to actually appear on his head. Which I really liked how that was done.
They probably should have started with that one on his head, so they could have just thrown it off.
Oh no, I liked that they actually went for the commitment to
I'm
that.
sure they practiced it. Anyway, should we talk about what everyone did?
Yes,
so
I'm sorry
I think this task is perfect because it shows everyone's thought processes for the series.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica went first. Should I call her Jessica or Jess? People call her both in the show.
I was writing Jessica until I realized that Greg was calling her Jess. So,
I'll call her Jess because everyone knows exactly who I'm talking about. And it's a nickname that she's had used on the show, so I think we'd be okay. So, Jess is up first, and she starts in a bridal gown. It's a very weird one. Probably looked like one that you could just buy.
Well, it's got a full face veil, and then she's holding stuff in front of it.
Like, she's holding some flowers. And then Alex pulls up one of like those
portable changing screens.
I was gonna say it was like one of those tubes you crawl through as a small child.
Yeah, well, it looks like they do that in cartoons. As they have those, they'll like pull something up out of nowhere and then they just change behind it. But the thing is that in a cartoon it takes 3 seconds, and in this it was bullshit.
Oh god. But anyway,
she did it quickly. But
yeah, it was quickly,
bullshit.
but it still wasn't amazing. And I'll say this why Jessica is a very competent contestant, I think, who has a solid performance across the series, but it's never quite the best. She's always second best, and this was definitely the second best transition in terms of what the task was asking.
Yeah,
and that sums up Jess in a nutshell in the series. She's just second best.
Yeah, because she changed into a workout outfit.
Yeah, like your stereotypical 80s workout.
Yeah, and it was skin tight, so it obviously fit under the dress. And it's like, oh, come on, that's like not really a quick change. That's like, you've got to like. It would be more impressive if she went the other way.
Like she started in the workout gear and then put
the wedding dress on, because that takes.
I think you have to
large and voluminous.
Yeah, but I don't think the extra step would have mattered. I mean, she took all the necessary steps. Sorry. Another contestant we'll see later did a pretty similar thing. Rod Gilbert.
Oh, God, I hate
there's
this.
a lot to... There's a lot to unpack with this one. So, Alex introduces Rod. And
we have...
Yeah?
So we learned something unsettling about Greg's past sexual history in the prize task round.
That he fucks bears.
Yeah. This is almost certainly proof that Alex Horn has, at some level, a humiliation fetish. Because, again, you would have to hold a gun on me to get me to do that. And then I would still say that you should just shoot me.
Well, all I have to say is that is a great shame.
I will not. That's nice. It's no.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to play along with what I wanted to say anyway, because I think it would still be funny. But anyway, Alex emerges from the house wearing absolutely nothing but a woman's bikini set, and it's got like, it's just this floral set. And then Rod Gilbert emerges wearing exactly the same thing, except he's got a beanie hat on. And the quick change is, Rod is going to remove the bikini top from Alex.
No, he's going to take off Alex's
the bottoms, sorry. And Alex is going to remove the bikini top from Rod. And basically Alex is prepping himself so as soon as his bottoms comes off, he's able to cup his hands in front of his genitalia. Alex has a bit of trouble getting Rod's top off, but that's not really, that's the only interesting thing is the camera, as soon as Alex's bottoms come off, hold right on his bare anus.
On his bare ass.
Yeah. I thought for a split second I could see his dick, but I thought it was just his hand cupping it.
Absolutely. I did not look that close. I was just like, okay. Because Alex looks uncomfortable, and it's just, oh yeah, this is one of these. They're standing like facing each. It's so not. It's so weird.
Anyway, now for what I really wanted to ask, Joe.
What?
You know how there's a very high chance I might be coming to America.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer.
I don't like where this is going, Emerson.
And we plan to do an IRL episode.
I don't like where this is going, Emerson.
Would you accept
Emerson
$500,000 to do that?
In cash before anything would occur. If you manage to pull together
I won't.
$500,000.
I won't be able to, or else I'll never be able to get home unless you're willing to pay for my flight. I literally go to your place, I give you all of my money to do that, and then you fly me back home.
That's weird, Emerson. That's weird. Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't actually want to do that, but
anyways,
I thought it'd just be a fun bonding experience between men.
Oh, you have a weird idea of what bonding is.
Yeah, the only bonding I know is bondage. The name's Bondage. James Bondage.
Okay.
That's our episode title, James Bondage.
Just come on, man.
And now we know Joe's sex noise.
The fuck? Okay, sure. Just keep going. Just keep going. Just keep going.
Anyway, it's a very striking moment, isn't it?
Yes.
But Greg makes the case that it's not really a quick change. James is up next, and he has made an outfit where the front is a tuxedo and the back has a dress. It's sort of just like when you hang the outfit on a hanger, it just sort of looks like that, but it's hanging from James's neck.
Yeah, it's a bullshit ass thing. Really, it is. But it's a bullshit costume.
I mean, Greg's gonna have a lot of issues with James throughout this. He has more issues with James in this episode. Mm-hmm. And he makes up some sort of narrative on the spot to save himself, and it fails. There's not really much more to say about James other than that it's the beginning of Greg ripping into him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kerry Godliman is next. Now, this is what I was saying is everything's been established so far. Jess is the second best in sort of how her things put together. It gets the job done, but it's not perfect. James, he thinks he's much better than he actually is, and he just waffles to try and save himself. Rod, he doesn't really care about the task. He just wants to see as many people as possible in pain. And this is where Kerry comes in, because Kerry's quick change is easily the best one. I think
it's actually a quick change.
Yes. And spoiler alert for a show that came out nearly 5 years ago, this pretty much reflects how Kerry's going to be the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't... Do we really care who wins this show?
A little bit.
But the contestants are getting paid more than the Taskmaster trophy's ever worth, so... Yes.
Yeah, basically.
And now, here is Phil Wang. Now, Phil Wang, he starts by wearing this dress. He has stockings on and he has a hat, which is really just a poncho on top of a tray. And he describes to Alex, this is what the ladies would wear to Ascot. So, do you know what Ascot is?
It's a horse race, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a horse race. It's a popular horse racing stadium. I worked there a bit over the summer. It it's basically this very posh upper class thing. It's really weird because like the street Ascot itself, you'd think it was just like a pretty unremarkable street, but then the building itself is ginormous. You've got the horse racing ground, and literally beyond that is just like there's a playground in the distance and just some empty fields. Like it's really unremarkable. It's like the equivalent of seeing what's behind a cinema screen, if you see what I mean.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's what Ascot is like. It's a very posh upper class place. And so then what Phil does is he goes inside and takes 45 seconds to change out of the dress and into the poncho that was on his tray. And he uses the stockings for gloves, and he's holding the tray in 45 seconds. Not quick in the slightest.
Yeah, it's not great.
And the reason this reflects Phil is because he has a great idea and it falls massively flat on his face. And it just... He never does well. James and Phil are very similar, except Phil is just more tragic, if you see what I mean. Mm-hmm. So, Kerry Godliman obviously wins the task. Jess obviously comes in second. Rod is third, because despite his quick time, it wasn't really a proper change. James is fourth, and Phil is gets a pathetic 1 point.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah, but then we have a very iconic, I wouldn't say iconic task, but it is an iconic task. It's a very funny one to watch. And it is to you, Joseph, unless you want to do Taskmaster Joe.
I don't.
There's not really a lot of changes you can make.
I mean, because they were going by time. I mean, really,
but there were a couple of penalizations.
I would have penalized Rod all the way down to a disqualification because it wasn't an actual quick change. Because, taking off someone's underwear is not a quick change. But everyone else, I mean, it's not worth it.
Should we just go on to the next task? Because we're losing steam a little bit and we don't want that.
No, so this one is the Tower of Boxes task, which... Oh, hold on. I got to make sure... This one, I believe the quick change outfit also had quite a few adapted tasks Yeah, it did. Let me just get through this. Basti Test had it in Season 5, Episode 2. Stormmaster Season 4, Episode 5. And Taskmaster Portugal Season 1, Episode 6. All featured the quick change task. And then onwards to the next task, which is build the highest tower. You have 5 minutes from when your first box is assembled. You have a maximum time of 20 minutes from now. So we are standing in the woods. There is a pile of boxes on the ground and a roll of red duct tape. Now, really, we could go on about, how anything like this works or, the wording of how, the first box is assembled. Because basically you can build a tower out of unassembled boxes and have 20 minutes, or you can assemble a box and have 5 minutes. And none of that matters because we see Phil Wang's outfit for the first time, where we realize that he is dressed in a banana yellow jumpsuit meant to embody...
Pay homage to Bruce Lee.
Pay homage to Bruce Lee, in which his Phil Wang is completely on view.
His I want to call it his little Phil Wang, but it's not really little, is it?
It's his Wang Computer Limited.
It's Wang Jr. Wang Jr.
It's
You don't like Wang Jr., do you?
I'm trying to come up with a
if you have any reason or interest in contacting us, please send us a possible name for Phil Wang's Wang at ytsmpod@gmail.com. We will probably never check it because it's probably the email is dead.
I still have that email, just nobody emails us.
Well, please email us. We are desperate for attention.
But no, I propose we call it Wang Laboratories after the computer company that's...
I mean, you know more about it than I do.
No, they used to sponsor British soccer teams all the time, so they would all be wearing uniforms that said Wang on them.
This guy knows more about stuff that happens in my country than me.
Well, you should fix that. Anyways, we start off with James and Kerry, and this is actually we usually have, when we do the show, when we do the two contestants next to each other, usually the contestants are doing the same thing, and that's why they're being shown together. This
But
is not the case in this time, because we're shown James Acaster and Kerry Godliman together. And Kerry Godliman very quickly assembles a couple boxes, and think gets it like 4 boxes high. Doesn't realize there's tape, but it doesn't really matter. She gets them fairly high enough, and is defeated by the fact that she can only reach so high. James Acaster, however, has this idea of, if I put a box up a tree, then the tree is the box is now the tower, but it's like 30 feet off the ground, and so spends his entire 20 minutes trying to get a box up a tree with no success, including like using tape as a rope, which didn't work. You can just hear the crowd dying as he like tries and throwing the rope over the branch that's like 15 feet above his head, and it just doesn't work. But anyways, it's very weird because Kerry is also very confused, because she did everything correctly, and Greg was like, "You did everything fine," and then he turns to James like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong?"
Oh, that
with
was
you
a
there?"
brilliant moment. I love
Because
that.
they actually use this as like a comparison of like what to do versus what not to do, and it's very interesting in that. But Kerry is quite confused to be lumped in with James. James, of course, is absolutely cuckoo. After that, we get Rod and Phil. Rod says only a fool would assemble their first box quickly, because he read the task. Smash cut to Phil Wang assembling a box, which we do have an interesting sort of situation. This is one of these things where the wording gets together, is that Phil assembled a box most of the way, but didn't fold out the upper flaps. So in his mind, it's not an assembled box because a box is closed. However, to everybody else, it is an open box. It is a closed box, or at least a fully assembled box. And I think that what happened here, because what happens after that is that Phil actually makes a decent tower. It gets fairly high. It's like, I think it's like it gets like over his head in height, but they disqualify it because at the 5-minute mark, he only had one box with the flaps open, which was his tower. The issue that I have with this is that Alex didn't stop him, didn't blow the whistle at the 5-minute mark like he would in virtually any other time when someone did something dumb like this. Which, the problem with that is that Phil could have then argued to Greg, well, Alex didn't stop me. How was I supposed to know that he'd done it, that I'd done that wrong? And he could have done that, but he didn't, because Phil's very bad at arguing, as he's shown by every time he makes the haggling joke. Because we do have past proof of this, is when season 3, Al Murray paid Alex to walk the bucket of water down the walkway, but Dave Gorman didn't. Alex wouldn't do it because Gorman didn't pay him. And so Alex was penalized, but Dave Gorman wasn't. And neither was Al Murray, because Al had bribed the judge. So I feel like there could have been, if he'd been a bit more forceful, if it's been like Acaster or someone, there would have been a rousing argument about whether or not Alex should have blown the whistle at the 5-minute mark then. But that didn't happen. But
Didn't happen.
No. And then
sorry, you cut up for a second. I didn't hear what you said.
No. Then meanwhile, Rod, while this is going on, is leaving his boxes open at both ends. So he sticks a branch through it, like a really long log, to brace it, and then that doesn't work. So he just stacks everything against a tree. And then that works. His is like 4.28 meters tall. But of course, there's a controversy because Rod and Phil thought it needed to be a freestanding tower, and it didn't need to be a freestanding tower. It could be supported as part of another structure. And Rod was saying, Phil, I think you did not assemble a box, so I'll support you. And Phil goes, I think that's not a tower, because he wanted to knock over Rod's accomplishments, and then Greg said that Phil only had a 75 centimeter tower. So that's clearly how that goes. And then Jess Knappett assembles boxes, leans them against a tree. The boxes weren't closed, so she had the full 20 minutes. And there's not much to say except for the time when the boxes fall down right behind her while she's trying to look like she's done it. And at that point, the only comment I really have for that section is the music in that particular section is really neat. I don't think we've seen this before, this particular bit of music. I or heard it really, but I liked that one.
Oh, okay, cool. Sorry, I got distracted.
Of course.
I get distracted very easily. I'm a very fidgety fellow.
Yes. So anyways, if we want to move on to the we're going to do the next task, but also we have the adapted tasks to this, which interestingly enough, this is another one of these ones where you can tell that Basti Test is getting its ideas directly from Alex Horn, because Basti Test actually has got this one first. Season 2, episode 3 of Basti Test aired in March of 2018 and had this one, as opposed to Series 7 of Taskmaster, which aired in September of 2018. So clearly this made it like Alex basically handed this off to the Basti Test crews, like, see if this works, and then they did it.
Cool.
And then after that, Stormester did it for season 3, episode 4, and then Kongan Befaller did it for season 3, episode 4 as well. That's actually really interesting. 2 season 3, episode 4s. But yeah, so there are 4 versions of this.
There are. Wow, that's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess there's one task to go.
And plus the live task.
Oh yeah, of course. And the third VT task, which is me, work out the circumference of the caravan, in baked beans. The most British, well, one of the most British tasks ever. Do you have a lot of baked beans in America?
So yes, we do. Personally, I hate them.
I like them.
I hate beans. I do not like eating beans. I do not like thinking about beans. I don't like looking at beans. They are like uniquely one of my least favorite foods.
Well, that's a shame. So one of my notes is Kerry isn't very smart.
Okay, listen, you. Putting you on the spot and making you do a huge amount of math. I can't do it either. You shut the fuck up, okay?
Why are you telling me to shut the fuck up without actually having seen my math skills? I don't know. We'll get your mum to set us a maths problem.
I'm not good at math. I cheated in all my math classes in college. If I could go the rest, it's like we literally do carry a calculator around on us at all times. I can't do mental math. So I'm in Carrie's boat on this one. And we haven't even started talking about it yet.
Okay. All right. James is up first. I stupidly did not write down the actual circumference of the caravan in baked beans.
I did.
Yes, because you're better than me.
965 beans is the correct answer.
So James worked out the length of 4 beans with his fingers. Then he measured the caravan with his fingers, coming to a grand total of 700 baked beans. It's all right. James, I don't really have a lot of individual notes about these people.
Oh, hold on. I have some.
Because you always come prepared.
Yes, I do. So Carrie was measuring the beans against her own hand. She was sticking them, like making the old call on a phone gesture with your pinky and your thumb, and then measuring that amount of beans to do it. James did that as well, but he stuck them to the side of the caravan and then counted, like after he got to like 4 or 5, and started just counting that width. Carrie's issue is that she got up to like 15 times 50 and then realized she had to do math. and couldn't, because she also apparently didn't think she could go inside the house and get a calculator.
Damn.
So there's that, and then Acaster just started counting. Do you know how many they actually suggested for each of them?
Well, James suggested 700. Kerry suggested 750.
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say.
As I mentioned, Kerry's not very good at mental maths. So it was, I did feel for her a little bit, but could I have done better? Probably. Do I entirely blame her? No. Let's leave it at that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Jess Knappett. So she counted as she moved a single bean around two sides of the caravan, which, oh my god, that was mental, honestly.
I loved that she was writing it in the
bean juice. That was probably the smartest thing.
Yeah, that was actually really good.
Yeah. But it wasn't entirely worth it though, because she came to 689 beans, the farthest out so far, only to be broken again by Phil Wang,
who is just the dumbest motherfucker.
Phil spills the can of beans. He literally he sprinkles it around the beans like just a salt shaker, and
he's like, "There's not enough beans in this can."
Because honestly, you could see how this doesn't work.
It's so dumb. Oh, it's so dumb. Oh, it's.
Yeah, we need a second to digest it. And he came to 400 beans, the farthest out of anyone. Rod was the only person to actually go over the correct answer, and he used a tape measure to work out the circumference of the caravan and the length of one baked bean. He then used a calculator to work out the perimeter of the caravan would be 1,275 baked beans. However,
this was frantic maths going.
He didn't take into account the source on the bean, which means the mean, which when taking his mean bean measurement, and that's how we get the episode title.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, this was frantic mathematics by Rod Gilbert. This is about what I would have done, and I probably would have gotten screwed in the same way. So I'm not certain.
Yep.
And then we also have another great line from James Acaster, which is it such a bad omen that Rod is the smart one?
God. But yeah, so with the final scores, Kerry is the closest with 5. Then it's James, Jess, Rod, and Phil is bottom.
Yes.
And we have a live task.
Yes,
Joe, over to you.
We do, but first I wanted to say the adapted tasks. There are 2. There is workout. There is work out the perimeter of the shed in Meatballs from Stormester Season 2, Episode 5, where there is an additional thing of you could earn more time to calculate if you ate the meatballs. And then Surmastari Season 2, Episode 7 had to work out the perimeter of the Taskmaster house with peas.
God.
So, and actually the Taskmaster's mansion. And then anyways, we're moving on to the live task, which is the most exotic fruit hat.
God.
Which is mm-hmm. And this is like a deranged. Okay, so my notes have very little on this. Live task. Oh no. Collaboration, everyone except Acaster, who is having a meltdown. A fucking meltdown. I upon further review, this is like a deranged Carmen Sandiego origin story.
I don't know what that is.
Where in the World Carmen Sandiego is an American cartoon series. No, this is Carmen Miranda. This is not Carmen Sandiego. Carmen Miranda is someone else who. Carmen Miranda is famously a Portuguese-born Brazilian samba singer who did a lot of Broadway shows and actress, and she wore a fruit hat in many of her appearances in film. It's great. It's I quite enjoyed. It's quite a fun reference, but anyways, this is a deranged Carmen Miranda origin story. That's such a great turn. Anyways, everyone has litter pickers. Those long things with the handles that you can grab stuff from a distance, and they have to put it on their head, which is like got a frisbee attached to their head upside down with a cord. So they have to put it on there. The task is make the best fruit display hat. You may not touch or tamper with your hat. Only the fruit pickers may touch the fruit. You may only hold the fruit picker uppers by their handles. Best fruit display hat wins. You have 100 seconds. We've been through all this bullshit. It's incredibly visual. Basically what you need to know happened is that there's like pineapples, grapes, bananas, lemons, apples, and a watermelon, and like one other thing that I think might be like a different variety of apple. It doesn't matter. They're all trying to put on their heads. Everybody else goes, we should work together. And so Phil and Rod and Jess and Carrie... It was
quite wholesome to see some of them work
Jess
together.
And Carrie all start putting each other's fruits on their own head, because the whole problem is that the fruit picker-uppers are too long to reach your own head with, because you basically have to be holding them backwards. It's really dumb. James Acaster, on the other hand, goes fucking insane and just starts trying to put it on his own head. It doesn't work. The camera cuts to him at one point, and he's kneeling on the ground using the fruit picker-uppers to like shove the fruit onto his head. It doesn't work. It goes everywhere. It's ridiculous.
As is everything James Acaster does.
And it's absurd. Scores don't really matter, but it was Rod who got 5 points, Carrie and Phil who got 4 points, Jess Knappett got 3, James Acaster got 2, which he was going to get 1, but he was so pathetic that Greg gave him an extra point.
Wow. Honestly,
and then this it was just. Yeah, well, hold on. I want to do. This is also has an adapted task. This has a singular adapted task. Decorate the prettiest Christmas tree hat from Stormmaster's Christmas Special 2021, where they're wearing small Christmas trees on their heads and are instructed to decorate the trees using the supplied decorations, which they can only touch with litter pickers.
Wow!
But at the end of the show, we have a winner of Carrie Godleman with 20 points. Beating out Rod Gilbert, who with 19 points, Jess Knappett with 14, Phil Wang with 13, and James Acaster with 11.
Yay, so the first episode is over. There's 9 more to go. This will probably be out within a week or something. I'm going to take a bit longer with editing episodes this time, because I have to dedicate more time to other stuff, but we will be back. And until then, you're all bitches.
I guess.
Wow, the energy has gone right off the rails.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was looking up something. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's all right.
I wasn't expecting us to call our audience
energy.
Bitches.
Okay.
Right.
Well, bye everyone.
Right. Bye.
Bye.